The time has come. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is finally out. We can rank all of the new Pokemon, and you're already getting spoiled if you haven't seen any of these, but the game is out, so I don't know if it still counts as spoilers, but in 3 seconds, I'm going to scroll down and show you all the Pokemon. So, 3, 2, 1, yeah, you're there. We're going to rank them all, and I don't know the names of all of them. I'm just starting the game myself, have not beat it, but I have looked through and seen what all the Pokemon are. These are in relative Pokedex order. There's a couple of them at the end here that are out of place for some reason, but for the most part, they're in order by Pokedex, starting with Tauros, or the Paldean form of Tauros at least. Our tier list is pretty standard: fantastic, great, good, mid, benched, and horrible. We're going to go ahead and rank all of them. I am ranking these Pokemon based on what they look like, as well as some of them. Like, I was completely dogging on Smoliv when it got revealed. I thought this Pokemon looked absolutely horrible, but seeing what it turns into, that's pretty cool. So Smoliv, probably going to be more of a mid Pokemon for me because of what it turns into. I don't know if that made sense, but you know, if it turns into something pretty cool, then it can be a little higher on the tier. So that's what we're doing, guys. We are getting back into regularly scheduled tier lists here. If you want to see that, consider subscribing to the channel. Not going to say anything more about it. Not going to plug anything more. Let's go ahead and start with Tauros. Tauros, the base form of Tauros, I'm going to say is pretty mid. It is Tauros, but black. That's kind of it. The fire and water forms of Tauros, though, I think are pretty good. I think it's a nice regional variant of Tauros. There's not a whole lot of regional variants in Paldea. From what we see, we do see some new evolutions, and we do see some a new concept of convergent Pokemon, like Wiglet here, which would be convergent to Diglett. But for the most part, we don't see a lot of regional Pokemon. So these ones pretty cool. Wooper, I also think is a pretty good regional form. It evolves here into Paldean and Quagsire. I believe that's Paldea Quagsire. I actually have not seen it in game yet, but it looks like it would be the one. Or is it not Quagsire? Is it a new Pokemon with a new name? I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually. But I do like Paldean Wooper. I've said it was good this whole time. Somebody pointed out how his head is like a skull and crossbones, and that's super, super cool to me. So I'm going to go ahead and say good. And then, honestly, the evolution is not as good to me. I'm going to say mid. It's not bad by any means, but yeah, not maybe as good. Sprigatito I thought was a great starter all along. In fact, it was my favorite starter at the very beginning. I have come around a bit on Fuecoco, who I said was mid at first, and then just after seeing him move in game and his animations and stuff, he's absolutely great. And then Quaxley, I really liked Quaxley, but I actually don't like his animations in game. He just seems a little pompous to me. I know he's kind of supposed to be with his line, and I'll get to his line in a sec. Amazon Prime notifications coming my way if that popped up over the mic. If it didn't, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, good, Quaxley there. Now, Sprigatito evolves into, I don't know these names, but its second form is actually fantastic. This might be the best second stage Pokemon, like the best second stage starter Pokemon that I can think of. The only other ones that I can think of that I like that as much are like Charmeleon, Wartortle. So those are obviously classic and nostalgic. I'm trying to think of what other good second form Pokemon there are. Braixen's kind of cool. I don't know. I'm probably missing an obvious one. Let me know if you can think of one. But I love Sprigatito's second form. His third form, or his stage 2, actually takes a step backwards, in my opinion. It looks very, very feminine. Not inherently a problem, but he looked from like a cool ninja-looking Pokemon to a court jester. And I feel like they could have just done that in reverse. They could have made the second the second form a court jester, and the final form like a cool, awesome-looking assassin. But they didn't. That's been kind of Pokemon's MO lately with starters, is they want to make them very, very thematic, which sometimes works and sometimes does not. Fuecoco, I am not a huge fan of his second evolution. I think it's kind of mid with the giant fire sombrero. It's a little too on the nose for me. However, his final form I think is absolutely great. I don't know that it's as good as Sprigatito's second form, but it is really, really good. It's really cool. I wish they had gone with a different typing for it. I wish they had been like Fire Rock, or I don't know. Fire Rock is not a very good typing, but I wish it had not been Fire Ghost, because we just had Fire Ghost with Hisuian Typhlosion, and we are getting it again, unfortunately, so that's a little eh. Quaxley evolving into Quaxwell, and I don't remember its final stage, but Quaxwell looks worse than Quaxley. And this one, its final stage is definitely going to be polarizing. I actually like it. I like the design. I like when it does its animation and its feathers and like a tail go up and stuff. It reminds me a lot of Typhlosion, where when that happens, it looks a lot cooler than when it doesn't happen. In regards to like Typhlosion's fire, I think I'd go ahead and put this Pokemon in good. I don't think it's great. But yeah, probably good, because it's not as good as Fuecoco's final evolution, in that sense. Lechonk, I've kind of come around on Lechonk. I thought it was pretty stupid at first, and then a lot of people pointed out the meme value of it, and that's true. But I really just don't like its evolution, either the male or female form. They do look a little bit different, but I'm just not a huge fan of them. Let me see. It doesn't look like we have both forms in this. There's a lot of Pokemon in here that we have multiple forms of, but for whatever reason, they did not put the... I guess they're not putting gender differences. They're only putting form changes. So, yeah. Lechonk's evolution. Something baloney. Yeah, benched. Dunsparce. I would love to love Dunsparce. It just got bigger, though. What the heck? Why do they do this to us? This feels like the Pokemon Company is really just trolling us. Like, people have been asking since literally Gen 2 in 2000, in the year 2000, which was 20 years ago. Dunsparce, you know, can you make an evolution for this Pokemon? Can you make it look cooler? And they gave it an extra piece of its body. And that's it. So, yeah. Bug Pokemon, Tarantula, or something like that. Tarantula. I think it's kind of mid. Not going to be my favorite. Its evolution, though, I think is pretty good. I like it. It's bipedal, which is cool. This other bug Pokemon, which I actually haven't seen in game yet, not sure where it shows up. I don't like it. It's just a very generic bug-looking Pokemon. But its evolution is absolutely great, so massive glow up there. I wish this was Steel type, but I understand why they didn't want to have another Durant type Pokemon. We have the Scarab, Anubis-looking Pokemon, benched on its first form. Its evolution, gonna say good. I like how colorful it is. It's definitely different from a lot of other Pokemon designs. Greevil, is that its name? Grevel? I don't know. It was officially revealed. Absolutely great design, and I'm a big fan of its evolution too. I think they're both up here. I know a lot of people. I've heard people's opinions. It turns more into a skeleton dog than a ghost dog, which is fair. Maybe we put Greevil up here in Fantastic. It is a really good looking Pokemon. This I don't know what I'm looking at here, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't know why it is what it is. This ostrich Pokemon, also not a huge fan. Gonna say bench for me. Girafarig's evolution, which is Girafarig? I don't know. It's kind of mid. I do appreciate them finally giving this Pokemon an evolution, but it just, like, could have been better. They just kind of took the original design and mashed it up a little bit. Wiglet is horrible, and Wigtrio, I think is the name of the evolution, is also horrible. I hate these. I think the concept of convergent Pokemon is a really cool one, but these just don't look like Pokemon. They look like weird worms, and we already have a weird worm Pokemon in this generation. So yeah, horrible for me. Big Fish Dude, kind of like it, has personality. We have what looks like a metal Barraskewda. Barraskewda, is that its name? Which I haven't seen in game yet. So a lot of these Pokemon that we're getting to at this point, I, for one, haven't seen in game, and for two, I've only really seen them in, you know, the reveals and just YouTube videos showing them off. So I will not know the names of all these Pokemon, and I do apologize for that. This one, I mean, it's mid. It's a fish. I like the Superman Dolphin, though. That's pretty cool. Gonna go ahead and put that in good tier. Or I guess its evolution is the Superman Dolphin, right? This one's really cool because one of the things you have to do to make it evolve is get it to level 38, which 1938 is when Superman debuted, And yeah, so this Pokemon draws a lot on Superman, which is a nice, place to draw from. This Pokemon, going to be benched. For me, it is Grass type, but when it evolves, it becomes the first ever Grass-Fire Pokemon. Absolutely great. I would love to say fantastic. I feel like they could have done something a little cooler with it. The first ever Grass-Fire Pokemon. I feel like that should evolve one more time and just become some epic dragon-looking thing. But obviously not having the dragon type. I'm going to say great. I think the concept of a hot pepper Pokemon with both those typings is a really, really cool one. I am not a big fan of Bellibolt, and I don't really like its pre-evolution either. In fact, I dislike its pre-evolution even more. We also have this this car Pokemon, which I know is used by Team Star in the game. It just looks horrible. It's some rocks and some metal put together. This worm is even worse. This worm is nightmare fuel. I don't like it. I like the mice. I like how one of the forms of the mice just has a baby mice. And also Dead Mouse is the pun on these guys' names. So I like that. Satitan and its pre-evolution. Its pre-evolution, mid. Satitan, gonna say good. This next thing, I don't even really know what I'm looking at here. Not a huge fan. Then it gets really cool, and it becomes pretty great, actually. I really like it. Is it Fighting Steel? I don't know, but its back has an axe on it, and I like that. This is ugly. I don't know what this is. Cyclizer, which is pretty much, without playing through the game, I assume that Miraidon and Koraidon are the past and future versions of Cyclizer. Cyclizer doesn't actually evolve into them, which is fine. That's fine. I just don't really like its design. I think it's far too simplistic. I wish it evolved into something. Yeah, it's just not that cool. Pawmi, I liked this Pokemon a lot more once I saw how small it was. And I like that it's going to be fighting electric. I don't like how much the evolutions don't really change that much. I wish this was more like a Teddiursa into Ursaring, where the evolved form is a lot bigger looking. And if you're going to make a 3-stage Pokemon, then yeah, then the last form should look a lot different in my mind. So I actually like Pawmi. I had him pretty low on my other tier lists. I'm going to put him in good. I guess I'm just going to put the whole line in good, to be honest. Overall, this might spoil the rest of the tier list, but I think a lot of the designs from this generation are pretty good. I don't have that. Well, I guess I do have Pokemon I don't like, but there isn't that many that are horrible in my mind, at least compared to the ones that are good. Though that said, we only have 2 so far that have ended up in the great tier. So we have an electric bird, which is one of the... I don't know which one of these birds is considered the regional bird, but electric bird, it's a baby Zapdos basically. It's not bad. Probably going to be mid for me though. Nothing really to write home about. Can I move this so these are next to each other? Yep. And then this thing, it's just like a crane, right? It's just like a crane. I don't know. We also have these birds. So this is the other regional bird. Oh, and we also have a flamingo. I definitely was getting some of these Pokemon mixed up. I was definitely getting the ostrich Pokemon and the flamingo Pokemon mixed up. I realize now those are 2 totally different birds, but yeah. The regional Squawkabilly, is that what it's called? Squawkabilly? Gonna be mid. Not really anything super great. I'm gonna put the flamingo in benched. It doesn't really look like a Pokemon to me. It looks like a flamingo, which is eh. Cloth, I think is pretty good. Wonderful meme quality. I wanted to say Nakanadal, but that's a different Pokemon that already exists, or I probably messed up the name of it. But yeah, these are rock Pokemon that are based on salt, and I love that. So good on the first evolution, great on the second evolution, and probably just great on the third evolution. I love how it looks like a transformer there. I don't know what this is, and I don't really know what this is. We can put that one in bench though. I absolutely hate this thing, Shroodle, and this Nightmare Fuel. I know it was officially revealed, and I hated it then too. I've come around on Fido after seeing it in game. I think it's super cute. Gonna say it's good, and its evolution makes me hungry. So I like that. I like how it's cooked now, right? So it's Fido, and now it's been cooked. And this is its name is a play on Dachshund, which I like. So that's pretty great. This other one, though, this other dog, it's kind of just a dog. Kind of just a dog. Yeah, mid-dog. Bramblegast and whatever its pre-evolution is, it's a tumbleweed, and I love that. I like. It reminds me so much of Chandelure, but a grass version of it, which I think is cool. I think at some point, I guess we have gotten them in the past. We need I was going to say we need a water ghost Pokemon, but I guess we have gotten some of those in the past. We have Gimmighoul, both in its normal form and its chest form. I love Gimmighoul's regular form. I think it's really great. Its chest form. It's this form of it outside the chest, I think it's kind of weird to me. I didn't really see a reason for it to come out of its chest like that. And its evolution is actually pretty horrible in my mind. I get the concept that this was supposed to be like a 1980s arcade worker, which calls back to like the games that Gimmighoul like originally was from, like the whole Mimic and everything, Diablo, D&D, whatnot. I just think it looks bad. I kind of want to do Paradox Pokemon last. So we can go ahead and do this Fairy Steel Pokemon, which I think is great. Its first form doesn't look that good, probably mid, but its second and third forms I absolutely love. I think they're hilarious. So gonna put them in good and great respectively. We also have, I believe these are new Pokemon. I don't think they're regional forms of Tentacool and Tentacruel. I think they're actually convergent Pokemon of them. But I think they're good. Nothing really gonna break the game in my opinion, but they're pretty cool. Ceruledge and names. I don't know this one. I don't really get why its pre-evolution is more red, because this Pokemon, depending on which game you're in, evolves into either of these. I don't understand why its pre-evolution isn't more like purple. Why isn't a combination of both colors? I don't really see that. Maybe the flame kind of fluctuates. But yeah, it doesn't really. It looks far more like the violet Pokemon to me. Maybe there's a reason for that. I have not gotten to the point in the game where I can find these, but yeah, the pre-evolution gonna be probably bench for me, not too great. And then the evolutions, I think this one is good, and then this one is absolutely one of my favorite looking Pokemon. I love the energy fire blades. Those are super, super cool. The evolution of Bisharp, I think might cause some problems, because Bisharp was already a really, really good Pokemon, and now we have it turning into a freaking Shogun. I really like the design. I think it's great. I'm concerned on how strong that Pokemon might be, and I think I'm going to have to use it. The evolved form of Primeape, I kind of thought this would be better as a evolved form of a regional Primeape, but that's fine. I like Primeape getting some love. I'm going to go ahead and put in good. I don't think it is a... It is fighting ghosts, which is really, really neat. Yeah, I'm going to put in good. I think it's a good take on the Primeape design, but I don't think it's really game-changing, so to speak. And then, yeah, now we're to the fun Pokemon. These are the Paradox Pokemon, past and future Pokemon, as well as the legendaries, Miraidon, Koraidon, and the 4 sub-legendaries, the celestial-looking Pokemon. I assume there's one for North, South, East, and West. They seem to be based on Chinese mythology, but I could be completely wrong about that. Alright, let's start with Iron Tusk. So the Scarlet Paradox version, the past version of Donphan. This one looks pretty great. A lot of these Paradox Pokemon look fantastic. This is an exception. Amoonguss, I don't really like its Paradox form. I guess it's good. I do like that they added some green to it, but everybody's been saying it. The fact that the Pokeball doesn't look like a Hisuian Pokeball, an ancient Pokeball, yeah, that's not the greatest. I also am not a huge fan of the past version of Magneton. I do like it getting some love. I like the interesting take on Magneton, but it's just not the best looking thing in the world. I'm going to say mid. Screamtail, the past version of Jigglypuff, I do like. I like how it doesn't really have a tail. It has hair that is a tail. Kind of like that. It's definitely ugly, but it's ugly in a cool Pokemon kind of way. The past version of Mischievous is a bigger Mischievous. Mid. The past version of this one, Volcarona, which I like how Volcarona has two versions, a past and a future. Just like Donphan, that's pretty cool. The past version of Volcarona is actually really, really great in my opinion. I really like it. It's like a Stegosaurus thing. I like it. And past version of Salamence is absolutely ridiculously fantastic. That wingspan is like unreal. I think this is actually an improvement on the original form of Salamence. Well, this is an improvement on Donphan as well. As is this, though, I actually like the past version of Donphan more than Iron Treads, more than the future version. The future version of Volcarona, I think, is also fantastic. I absolutely love it. The Shining Wings are great. A lot of people have been dogging on the future version of Hariyama. What is it, Iron Hands? I actually don't think it's that bad. I'm going to say good myself. I might be the only one that thinks that. So, yeah, that's fine. The future version of Hydreigon I like, but I don't understand why. It didn't really change. It's like the same thing, but metallic. So, kind of mid. I like the design, but it's just the original Hydreigon design, isn't it? Like, pretty much. The Dragon Sword Tyranitar is absolutely fantastic, and I want it on my party immediately. I know a lot of people have been saying that, but yeah, that's yeah. I love the future version of Delibird. What is it, Iron Bag, right? I think that's hilarious, and I think it's great. The future version of Gallade / Gardevoir. I wish they had done more Pokemon like this that were kind of a combination of two. Especially like a divergent evolution. Like you could have done like one that was halfway between like Glalie and Frostlass or something. I don't know. I really like this one though. It's great. It's probably fantastic tier. And this is why I personally got Pokemon Violet, because I like more of these Violet exclusives than I do the Scarlet exclusive. The Scarlet exclusive that I really wanted was the Salamence. But unfortunately, with all these other great Violet ones, I went with that game. As for the 4 sub-legendary Pokemon, definitely going to have to see a little bit more about them. Is this water, fire? Because that's really cool if it is. I don't really care for the Slug. This thing, kind of mid. This thing, probably good. The fish can go in good tier too. So none of these really anything to write home about in my opinion. And as for the final version of the Pokemon, Koraidon, I love its fighting form. I don't like its riding form. It's a chicken. Miraidon, I love its riding form. I don't like its fighting form. It is praying or meditating or something. Like, why couldn't they just make it stand normally and have, like, the boosters become, like, cannons or something? Like, wouldn't that have been cooler? Like, I don't understand. This is just another example of Pokemon Company, like, same thing with like the Sprigatito line and like the Quaxley line, where they had to take a concept and just make it, instead of making it cool, they had to make it gimmicky, I guess. I do like Koraidon better than Miraidon, or excuse me, Miraidon better than Koraidon, in everything except the battle forms. So yeah, is what it is, I guess. And that's it, guys. These are all of the new Pokemon in Generation 9 ranked. Let me know how wrong I am in the comment section, because I'm sure you have an opinion on how wrong I am. So let me know how many ways I am wrong and or right, and I'll be back with more tier lists soon, probably, maybe. We'll have to see. Subscribe if you want to see that. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.